Okay, hey, BOOZHOO, and welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the live stream. And, before people start rolling in, the last time we did this, nobody showed up. So it might just be, me and Michael here and Natasha. BOOZHOO! That was Natasha. You gonna come on later, sweetie?
Oh, I suppose I could come on and maybe tell a story or something.
Okay. And hey, Michael, you gonna sing a song for the people tonight? Ah, yeah, sure. What song you gonna do? I was thinking maybe doing Iron Maiden's "Run to the Hills." Oh, that's a good one. Run to the hills. Run to the hills. Run for your life. La da da dum. Run for your life. So yeah, the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO live stream, streaming live on Christmas Eve. It is the eve of Christmas Eve. It's the day before Anama e Gija good, or Nipa Anama e Gija good. Before nighttime prayer day. That's what we call Christmas. So maybe I should just say a prayer on this Christmas Eve. This is the Serenity, not the Serenity Prayer, but the, what do they call it? The Lord's Prayer in OJIBWE Moan. And the story is that back in the days of the grandfathers, when Jesus walked the earth, there was a mushkiki winani named, I was going to call him a medicine man, but he was much more than that. He was the son of Gitchimanadu, son of the Great Spirit. He walked the earth and he taught people a lot of stuff. But one day his buddies came up to him and they were like, "Hey, Jesus, how do we pray?" I know it seems like kind of an obvious question, what with this whole, thing you're doing, but we don't know how to pray. Will you teach us? And so Jesus was like, "Yeah, okay, come on, everyone gather around. Hey, everybody, can you hear me in the back? If you don't know how to pray, this is how you should pray." And so it's called the Lord's Prayer. Nusana wakwing ebian, our Father who art in heaven. Ape gish gichi twawendamig, get a nuzoin. May your name be hallowed. Ape gish be dagwishanu magak, kidugi mawiwin, and endamin. May your kingdom come. Ape gish Eji Wepak, Dibish Guwakwing. May your will be done. Gaye a king on earth. Miku Gaye Ishpaming, as it is in heaven. Mijishanang no go Agijikuk Nimpakweji Gani Imana Minik Eyoyang. Give us today our daily bread. Bunigat it, how do you say that? Bunigat it de ta wishanang. Gaye ga iji nishkehe nange. Forgive us for our offenses against you, just like we forgive others. Gego gaye iji wish ishi kange. Gagwe di benenge winning, and do not lead us into temptation. Dash in inaman wishanang mayena dak, and keep us from what is evil. Ape Inge. Amen. Miigwech Bizendawiya Gitchimanadu. Thank you for listening, Great Spirit. Mio Minik. That's enough. And that's how you pray the Lord's Prayer in Ojibwe Moan. So yeah, just waiting around. So Gitchimanadu. Dagawi Duko Ishin. Ikadon Minawe Nungom. Great Spirit, help me to speak well today. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. So if you're new to the channel in the future, this is an Ojibwe language and culture channel. We try to teach the kids how to speak Ojibwe Moan. But that's not how actual Ojibwe speakers speak. They always say, that's how we talk in a language. So you want to learn how to talk Indian? Well, it starts with a BOOZHOO. Hello, BOOZHOO. And so the show is called BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. And BOOZHOO means hello. NANABOOZHOO is me. I'm NANABOOZHOO. And on the show, we also have Natasha. And a couple of res dogs. Got Anamosh. Ikadon BOOZHOO Anamosh. Hello, everyone. And we also got Benjamin. Benjamin, can you say hello? Hello, everybody. And they're res dogs. Anamosh means dog. That's how he got his name. And then there's Michael, of course. Michael's a rock star cartoonist. He plays guitar and he sings. He's got the long hair. And he also he's a cartoonist. He's written some and illustrated some children's books in the Ojibwe language. They're available on Amazon.com. But I'm not going to turn this podcast into a commercial for you, okay? So yeah. Just doing a live stream. We've done these in the mornings, and there's a small group of people who will show up first thing early in the morning. And, they'll write in, say little comments, ask questions. But for some reason, streaming at night isn't really working for us. We're not popular enough to stream at night. Somebody will watch us later, but going live. See, this is the problem. So on New Year's Eve, we're going to have a New Year's Eve party. We're going to live stream. So this is kind of why I'm practicing now. We're going to have this live stream party and countdown 2020, and then, maybe do some songs and that. But now I'm kind of starting to worry that nobody's going to show. We could do it on Facebook. People always show up on Facebook. What do you think, Michael? We might want to consider that. More people will see it if we do it Facebook because, my family will be there and stuff. Yeah, huh? We'll put something up on New Year's Eve because we've been advertising. Maybe we'll have to do a pre-taped show. We can do a pre-taped New Year's Eve show. Yeah, we might have to do that. All right. If you'd like to see us live New Year's Eve, leave a comment. Otherwise, we're going to be on Facebook. Come to Facebook for our New Year's Eve party. Hypothetical viewers of the future. Time is a weird thing when you think about it. It's been 9 years since we moved in here. Can you believe it? Yeah, I know. It's gone by quick. 9 years ago, we moved to Bemidji, Minnesota. That's where we live. It's a nice town. It's a Minnesota town. It gets dark. I mean, that has nothing to do with the town, I guess. But today it feels very Minnesota. We had a blizzard. It got dark at like 5. Snow plows and, I don't know. I like Bemidji because it doesn't have a lot of the problems that bigger towns have. Like there weren't any riots. We get along pretty well here for the most part. People are pretty civil. It's a nice mix of, blue Democrats and rednecks. There's a healthy gun culture up here. It kind of keeps crime at bay because people assume that most of the people are packing heat. Most people don't want to break into your houses because they assume you have a gun. So, it's a pretty safe town. Don't let the statistics tell you any different. Oh, Bemidji, it's a crime capital. Per capita. Well, it's like, well, yeah, we're really small, though. It's a lot safer here than in Minneapolis, tell you that much. La, 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 la. Do, do, do. And hey, all right, somebody's actually viewing. Bonjour. Welcome to the live stream. We're a show about Ojibwe language and culture. And jokes and jokes and jokes. So let me say something funny and entertaining for you. I was thinking about the movie Dances with Wolves. That movie could have been called How John Dunbar Got His Indian Name. Because actually, Dances with Wolves was the name the Dakota people gave him. His name was John Dunbar. And so this is the story of how John Dunbar got his Indian name. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a man named John Dunbar. It was back in the olden days. I don't know enough about history to tell you what he was doing, but there were a bunch of white people fighting and shooting at each other from horses, and it was that time period. And John Dunbar, the movie opens up, and he's in a hospital tent, and they're gonna cut off his leg or something. And he sees the guy next to him just die, and this guy over here in this bed, he's no better. And so John Dunbar is like, you know what? I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory. And so he did this really reckless thing, and it saved the day. He thought he would die. He ran his horse right through the battlefield, thinking that he would get shot. But instead, everyone just kind of went, oh, what's that guy doing? And when they weren't looking, his side wasted everybody. I just shot him down. And so the captain or general or some important guy goes, John Dunbar, I don't condone your reckless ways. Your shoot first, ask questions later, has no business in this century. But you're a hero to us. So we're going to let you choose anywhere you want to serve in the continental, it wasn't the USA yet, but in, the country. And John Dunbar's like, I want to go out to Indian country. Send me out to the prairie where the buffalo roam, and where seldom is heard a discouraging word. And cloudy or gray. So he goes out to the plains. And it is there where he gets his name, Dances with Wolves. Because the Shanabs, they see him playing with a wolf. It looks like he's dancing. And after a whole bunch of stuff happens, John Dunbar starts hanging out with the Indians. And he's all And he grows his hair out into kind of a mullet. He stops wearing his uniform. Falls in love with, that was a white lady, but, she was living like an Indian. And he kind of hunts buffalo with them and fights off the Pawnee and saves some little kid from a buffalo. And eventually he becomes Dances with Wolves. That was his Indian name. Later on, they would fly out in space and become that movie with the blue guys. What was it called? I only saw part of it. It was like the most popular movie ever, but nobody remembers it. Like cartoon. I forget what it was called, but it was basically Dances with Wolves in space. The blue guys who flew around on dragons or something. Planet Smurf, I think they called it. Avatar. That's what it was. Avatar. And they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Hey, let's make a movie about a video game that's a ripoff of a Kevin Costner movie. Anyway. Hey, Michael, you wanna say hello to the people and maybe play a song? Yeah, sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn the camera over to Michael Lyons, the rock star cartoonist and creator of BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Take it away, Niji. I'm going to walk over here. BOOZHOO. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Lyons, and I'm going to try to... What am I doing? I hope I didn't just screw that up. So yeah, my name is Michael Lyons. I'm the creator of the show. And as NanaBOOZHOO said earlier, I have some books for sale on Amazon.com, which are a lot of them are Ojibwe language children's books, and there's some comic books and a coloring book. So if you work at a school or anything, check out my books. And so it looks like there's one other person here. Welcome. I was talking earlier on another live podcast how this sort of feels like an open mic night. And so if I was in a coffee house and there was just one other person there, I would still play. But like when I've done live streams where there's been like 100 people, then it feels like I'm doing a show. Anyway, this is a song by Iron Maiden. White man came from across the sea. He brought us pain and misery. He killed our tribes, he killed our creed, he killed our game for his own needs. We fought him hard, we fought him well. Out on the plains we gave him hell, but many came, too much for Cree. Oh, will we ever be set free? Riding through dust clouds and barren ways, galloping hard on the plains, chasing the redskins back to their holes, fighting them at their own game. Murder for freedom, the stab in the back, women and children are cowards attack. Murder for freedom, the stab in the back, women and children are cowards attack. Run to the hills, run for your lives, run to the hills, run for your lives. Soldier blue in the barren waste, hunting and killing their game, wasting the women and wasting the men. The only good Indians are tame, selling them whiskey and taking their gold, enslaving the young and destroying the old. Selling them whiskey and taking their gold, enslaving the young and destroying the old. Run to the hills, run for your lives, run to the hills, run for your lives, run to the hills, run for your lives, run to the hills, run for your lives. And then she left. How do you do a live stream if nobody watches? Oh, she's back. Or he's back. Now there's two of us. Hi, welcome back to the show. Or welcome to the show. Manadu Wilkie. BOOZHOO. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I was just complaining about how nobody showed up. And NANABOOZHOO did a prayer, did the Lord's Prayer in OJIBWE, which is sort of a rare thing to hear. And I just sang a song by Maiden that talks about Indian oppression, And, kind of a show. But I was lamenting that we've been planning this New Year's Eve party. I wanted to do a live stream on New Year's Eve. But I'm afraid no one's going to show up. We're just not popular enough to pull off a live stream on YouTube. Now, for whatever reason, when I do live streams on Facebook, I guess because I have a bunch of people that know me personally. Like last time, I think we had 130 people watch our video. So I think I might have to do the New Year's Eve party on Facebook. But look for our Facebook page. I mean, I don't have a link for it, but you can find BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Or me, Michael Lyons. That's me right here. So, wish you a Minobi Nipa Anima E Gijagud. Minobi is Mary. Nipa Anima E is nighttime prayer. Gijagud day. Can't you dual stream? Yeah, I probably could. I could do a stream here and then stream from my phone to Facebook. Maybe I'll do that. Because then if somebody shows up, this one will just show me live streaming to Facebook. Maybe I need to call these live streams something more interesting than just live stream and the date, Oh, there is. There's software to multi-stream. I guess I'm using OBS, whatever that is. It's the first streaming software I've ever played with. Gimmick Wayne Dane and means do you remember? In Ojibwe I say, for do you remember? Gimmick Wayne Dane and means do you remember? Do you remember? Gimmick Wayne Dane and do you remember? What do you remember? This is kind of an interesting time for me this time of year, because it always marks the anniversary of me moving to this house. It'll have been 9 years since I moved here from Walker, or kind of between Walker and Cass Lake, Minnesota. And you know, you never know how long you're going to be staying in a place, and you turn around, it's 9 years later, and you go, wow. So, Gimmick Wayne Dane and do you remember? Do you remember Bruce Springsteen? Manadu, are you old enough to remember Bruce Springsteen? I mean, I know he's still a celebrity that people talk about, but you know, I don't think he's written any music in decades. I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning, go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired. Man, I'm just tired and bored with myself. Hey, baby, I could use just a little help. Can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen was gonna move away if Trump had won. He was one of that short list of celebrities who like threatened to move out of America if his, pick for president didn't win, And I always thought that's just the stupidest thing to like threaten. I don't know. Like, does he think the average person in America cares where he lives? Was that gonna too young to remember Bruce Springsteen? Are you a kid, Manadu? I mean, I guess it makes most sense. This is a kid show, for crying out loud. I do it so much, it's turned into something else. But we've been doing this for about 3 years, and I originally was thinking, well, this would be a cool, Sesame Street type show. This is Ernie and Bert teaching Ojibwe rather than Spanish or whatever. But then he ends up talking about such adult things, and my humor is, not really. I mean, I was never one of these people who like to talk down to kids. Hey there, little fella. I like to show children, some respect. This is clearly not just Ernie and Bert. Oh, but I'm saying that this probably should have been like a kid show. In which case, I have lots of advice. gets better. You're not crazy for wanting the things you want. Even if nobody believes in you. Whatever your dream is. No, just a young adult. Okay. Young adult's tough because you're just now figuring out how stupid real adults are. You know, by the time you're a senior, you realize you're smarter than most of your teachers. But you're still like a kid, so stupid that you don't have any confidence that you can survive in the real world. At least that's the way I was. So. I knew a man Bojangles and he danced for you in worn out shoes, ragged hair and ragged shirt and baggy pants. He did the old soft shoe. He jumped so high. Whoops. He jumped so high, jumped so high, lightly touched down. Do you play an instrument, Manadu? Or let me guess, you're a rapper. Rapping is cool on a performance level. I think it gets a lot of people out of their comfort zone. You know, it's not as scary as singing. You play the piano, awesome. I'm just learning the piano. Or, I mean, I'm not taking lessons or anything, but I've goofed around a lot with the piano and can't hold a rhyme. I goofed around with the piano for years, very seldomly, but since the lockdown, I've been playing a lot more piano. And I really love it. And a lot of my favorite songs are piano songs. But I'm 99%, guitar player. So I'm 53 now. And when I was a young adult, yeah, my last video, what did we do? I'll be honest with you, Manadu, I was playing air piano there. That was a karaoke cover that we did. But so I wasn't really playing the piano part for that song. But when I was young, when I was a young adult, like say 18, I had a lot of dreams, a lot of things I would have loved to see happen for my life, and I wasn't in any position to believe that they could happen. But that's what makes it a dream, is that, well, maybe something will happen and eventually I'll be a rock star or something. And but the dream's always like you think the deadline is at by 40. I didn't dream of becoming a rock star at 50. In fact, I never really thought about what being 50. I figured it was all over by then. I'd meet a nice girl in my 20s, have kids, they'd move away. I'd become a rock star, be a millionaire, buy a home and retire by 45 or something. I don't know. Never considered what kind of a person I wanted to be when I was in my 50s. And now I'm in my 50s, and it's really great. They never talk about how awesome being in your 50s are. Almost everything you see in movies and portrayed is, young people stuff. It's always about dating and meeting a girl and being a newly, being in your 30s. It's not a lot of movies about people after 50 that anyone cares about, and, although I have to say Iron Man's in his 50s. So you can still be a superhero in your 50s. But you're really pushing it, Ben Affleck wasn't really that convincing as Batman. Is that his name? Ben Affleck? Affleck? But being 50 is, for me, it was finally when you got to live your dreams. Like, you get to be who you always wanted to be. Because by the time you're in your 50s, you're good enough at your, whatever the thing is you were into, to really be that person. You know, when I was 18, I could barely play the bass guitar. But I was posing a lot, you know. I. But, you know, no one took me seriously as a musician. And no one takes me seriously as a musician now, either. But because I've been playing for, you know, 30 years, 33 years, something, you know, I've gotten kind of good. So I can get on YouTube and play a song and feel comfortable. So we were talking about Dances with Wolves and how that movie could have been called How John Dunbar Got His Indian Name. So if you don't know, an Indian name is like a second name you get when, at least in some practices, when you start to walk the red road, when you decide to live like an Indian, you know. And there's a ceremony behind it. Somebody gives you that name. But Dances with Wolves, the term Dances with Wolves was actually the name that Dakota gave John Dunbar, you know, Kevin Costner's character. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's really a great movie. But it's a story of I wish I knew what to call them, the Bluecoats or something. You know, they're fighting a war. And he gets posted way out in the Indian country, out in South Dakota or Nebraska territory. And they just sort of forget about him out there. And for a number of months, he lives like a soldier living in a one-man fort, I guess. And eventually he connects with the Indian people of the area, the Dakota. And the movie is really cool because they're using all this Dakota language. And there's a great scene there where there's like a group of Dakota guys that show up. You know, it's like Graham Greene and those guys. And they have and he introduces them to coffee and sugar. And they're asking about buffalo, and they try to communicate, even though neither of them speaks the same language. And eventually he kind of wins over the Indian people. He starts hanging out there. He lets go of his duty. He lets his hair grow out. He shaves off his mustache. He starts to live like a true human being, is the way they would call it. And even fights against the Pawnee. I had this buddy who used to come up to me. He'd walk up behind us like a running gag, and he'd go, "John Dunbar, why you want to make war with the Pawnee? They have done nothing to you." But he fights the Pawnee, he fights the white guys, he saves the day, kills a buffalo, and then hooks up with this chick from the tribe, and they call him Dances with Wolves, and it's his Indian name. So the movie could have been called How John Dunbar Got His Indian Name. And then I wrote a song once upon a time. But it's got nothing to do with you. I've got no one, still you won't do. And after today I'd say we are quite through. But I know you won't break down, you won't miss a step, you won't be around, and you'll never forget it one day. When I'm old and gray, I might look back and say that these were the golden days. And one day when I'm old and I'm gray, I might look back and say that this was the price I paid. Is Nanaboozhoo your native name? No, Nanaboozhoo is the in most like folk stories where there's a human being in an Ojibwe story, like the flood story or something, the human being's name will be Nanaboozhoo. And so there are what they call Nanaboozhoo stories, which are stories that you're supposed to only tell in the winter. And so it was one of the things where right up until the day before I filmed the first Nanaboozhoo episode, I was going to call him Thomas Aubrey. Thomas after the character in Dances with Wolves, Thomas Builds a Fire. Hey, Victor! And all that really thick reservation accent. Hey, Victor, where's your dad? Why did he leave you? You know, and so Nanaboozhoo was going to have this really thick accent, and he was going to be called Thomas. And then Aubrey was my grandfather's name. Yeah, smoke signals. Thank you, Monadu, for the compliment. And my grandfather's name was Aubrey, and so I was going to call it the Thomas Aubrey Show. And then, like a little voice in my ear said, "Call it BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO." Because it sounds good. BOOZHOO is hello right away. Ojibwe speakers will recognize the word BOOZHOO. And then a lot of people recognize the name Nanaboozhoo. And I don't think anyone's taken it yet. You know, there hasn't been a Nanaboozhoo cartoon or something. And so I just, on a whim, called him Nanaboozhoo. And then it kind of stuck. And then we wrote a song with a harmonica part. I'm always losing my harmonica. It's over there. Ouch. You know, one of the ways that we teach Ojibwe language on this show is by putting Ojibwe words to songs and by pulling my hair out by its roots. And the word for blueberry pie is really long. It's Mina Bashki Mina Sagani Batusi Chikani Bakwe Shigan. And so to help kids learn how to say it, we put it to music, and it was like, and for no good reason, it's like a really dramatic chord progression. But after you sing it a couple of times, then you remember it. Mena bashki mena sagani batusi chikani bakwe shikan. 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 butchered it. Minabushki, Minasagani, Batusi, Chakani, Bakwaji Gun. Blueberry pie. Not that you're ever going to need to know how to say that. I was working on something the other day. This is the Serenity Prayer in Ojibwe. Let's see. That's probably not the intro. Get your mana do. Daga we duka wishin. We ni chi not a good wenderman. That's awfully low. Let's bring it up here. Mana do daga we duka wishin we ni jean and a good wenderman Geo dapan a man inu ge gashki katose wan je anji saduyan je apichiteyan Anji Sadoyan Ge Gashki Katoyan Je Apichite Nebuakeyan Ji Kendaman oh no Kendaman oh no Je Kendaman oh no Get your manadu, daga we duka wishin, we ni ji, nana good a wenderman. Jiatapenaman, inu ke kashki ke tosiwan, ji anji sadoyan, ji apichite ayan, ji anji sadoyan ke kashki ke toyan, jite apichitomok nebuakayan, jikaindaman ono. Ape enge. Amen. On your Spotify, let me do a better version of it and I'll post a video. So you a guy or a girl or something in between, Manadu? Do you identify as Ikwe? Spirit Wilkie. I'm guessing you're a female. I can't tell. Full dude. Welcome. I was surprised to find out that most of my viewers, like they'll tell you like where people are viewing your videos from and what the demographic is. And it was men ages 35 to 50. I was like, what, really? And then it occurred to me that I think YouTube is largely male. I think guys do a lot more of surfing YouTube, and we don't watch TV like women do. We'll just look up stuff that's interesting, So Manadu, are you a traditional Shinab? Do you go to sweat lodges and all that? Or are you an atheist? Are you a Christian? Those questions make people really uncomfortable. You're never supposed to ask a person's religion for some reason. Before COVID, you were a full dude before COVID, and then did something happen? I got the COVID and it transitioned me into a chick. I'm an atheist leaning. I tried really hard to be an atheist. When I first became kind of a YouTube surfer, meaning when I gave up TV. Oh, okay. Sweat lodges before COVID. Right. I suppose the sweat lodges, yeah, I haven't gotten a sweat in years now, a couple of years. I used to do sweats every week. I would go in spurts where I would go long periods where I wouldn't sweat at all. But when I was in college especially, I tried to be, well, even in my 30s, I tried to be an atheist. And I really admired a lot of atheists, especially comedians like Ricky Gervais. And I used to like Bill Maher. I'm not so wild about him anymore. But, and then like some of the like intellectuals would do these videos that have these debates. And it was just so, I was just so convinced that especially Christians are stupid. Because I was also really into science fiction. And I didn't realize I was into science fiction. I just thought I was into science. But a lot of these guys who would talk about quantum physics and life in other planets and a lot of this science talk that's not part of the scientific method. Like they're not doing experiments to prove how far away a galaxy is or whatever. These guys would always be like debating the Bible, like the creation. And I'd be going, why are you guys still debating that thing? I thought that was settled in the 80s. I mean, I get it why a Christian might be still wanting to debate evolution, but as scientists, you shouldn't talk about how, well, this is proof that there is no God, you know. But I could never quite take that leap of faith of believing the scientists over my intuition, you know, my own spiritual like feeling. I always felt like I had a spirit. Like in sweat lodges, I always took them pretty seriously. And, you know, some people go to sweat lodges thinking, well, it's just a cultural thing. There's no spirits here. And I'm always like, yeah, I think there are. You start singing, the spirits come in. I believe in spirits. And so if you believe in spirits, that means you have to believe in a soul. If you believe in that, that means there's a God. If there's a God, isn't he the creator? And so everything's back on the table. When my cat died, I started praying a lot. That was about 3 years ago. There's kind of a sweet song about the blues. No, it's not. It's down here. No, how's that go? Take a boat to England, baby, maybe to Spain. Wherever I have gone, anywhere I've been and gone, anywhere I have gone, the blues are all the same. Gosh, gain the mowing. It's grief. Gosh, gain the mowing. GOFUNDME. And that's one thing you learn as you get older, Manadu, is grief. You may have experienced it already. You know, most of us lose somebody by the time you're a young adult. But multiple deaths will teach you about grief in a way that you just can't know yet. And that's the tough part. Like, my experience has been that your capacity for happiness keeps growing as you get older, because your experience with unhappiness has gotten deeper. You know, as the water fills, you have the capacity for like deeper love or higher happiness. But, you know, like when you're a kindergartner and you can get pretty upset over something silly. But you can get pretty happy over something pretty little, you know. You know, for me, taking a ride to the dump with my grandpa, it's like, all right, we're going on a ride to the dump. And I was happy. That was a trip. But also, if your grandpa left you at home, you get really mad and really disappointed. I remember being a little guy, and that, you know, the water was pretty shallow, and the range of emotions operated in that. When you get old, it's like you live in a deep lake of emotions, and grief will bring you so low, but it also increases your capacity for happiness or gratitude or those things. Getting deep with my young friend Manadu Wilkie. Manadu, for you other people, means spirit in Ojibwe. So I'm guessing Manadu has a good spirit. All right, how long have we been doing this? 58 seconds. All right, I get kind of a sense. I've want to spend almost an hour. Manadu, do you have any requests? Oh, what do I do? I just shut myself off? No. Here we go. All right, so here's the, to close out the show, I would like to thank especially Manadu Wilkie for showing up today, and for the other 2 people watching right now, Miigwech for watching. Miigwech Ganawabi Egg, thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. Watch for our New Year's Eve special, live stream at 11:30 Central Time. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. I screwed that up. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I'm happy to be here with you today to speak Ojibwe and learn about language and culture. Thank you and good night.